Live, 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 live. You're live. Let's go. Yeah, it's a bit tricky. I don't know why OBS does this, but sometimes it says you're live, but then you're not, and you have to go to YouTube, press the live button there. But yep, we're live. That is what matters. And yeah, what we're going to do in today's stream is I will be sculpting this spooky reference. Because I love spooky themes. I don't know about you, bro, but I just love spooky themes. Now, we don't have Halloween where I live, but the idea of Halloween has always been so fascinating for me. I love the preparations for it. I love the costumes. I love the spookiness. And yeah, since young, I've always found spooky horror something that I really enjoy. I don't enjoy horror movies as per se because they're just a bunch of crap with bad sounds and bad makeup and everything. The thing about horror movies is that they're not scary. They just rely so much on cheap ways to make you feel scared. What do I mean by that? But like they might have a jump scare, a loud bang, a suspense, like nothing's happening and you're super into what's going to happen, damn bro, and suddenly you're scared. That's not horror. Horror is when you feel genuinely scared. Now, I don't know if it would count as horror, but there was this movie called Brothers, and the actor was what's his name? And no, not Andrew Garfield. Tobey Maguire. Yes, Tobey Maguire. So Tobey Maguire was in that film. And it wasn't a horror film, bro. It was a drama film. But there was this scene that when I was watching it, my heart was boop, 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 boop. Then it was so intense. Yeah, that's how real emotions should be triggered, not by cheap tricks. That is what I believe. So there's really no good horror movie out there other than the ones that just rely on jump scares. And you know, since I was young, I've always thought, you know, someday I'm gonna make my own horror game and I'm gonna tell the whole world what real horror is actually. But yep, I didn't end up doing that. I ended up sculpting because I love characters. I love sculpting characters. I just love characters. Yep, characters are the best, man. But it's a shame that I've always delayed this so much. I've delayed sculpting awfully long, painfully long, more than I would like to admit. I stuck up with product rendering, product animation, low poly assets for the longest time, bro. Because sculpting was always something that was super difficult. It was always so overwhelming and I just did not know where to start. And one day I just realized, hey bro, no one else is going to do this for you. So get your shit together and start learning this. And here I am learning this, teaching this now. I just love sculpting. Sculpting is the best. It's the best. Yeah, this is what I believe. I mean, the thing that you can do naturally and other people feel like it's a chore, that is your calling. That is what you should do. Which is fun for you, but it's weird for other people. That is what you should be doing. Whatever comes most naturally to you, just listen to your heart, follow that voice, and it will take you places you did not even imagine. Because it's just fun for you. And for other people, it's a chore. But for you, it's fun. Yep. Hey, yeah, Shizuma, how are you? My friend. Always first, even on the new channel. Yeah. I just made this new channel for streaming. And only for streaming. Which I think is something that I should have done early, but better late than never. Oh shit. Yeah, I cannot remesh this now. What should I do? Maybe I should remesh this first. and I should worry about this later. Doing good, and you? Yes, I'm doing really well as well. Thank you for asking. I'm doing great. So, Shidima, do you like horror stuff? Do you like spooky themes? Or is it just me? I don't know, bro. I just love spooky stuff. Spooky stuff is the best. I had this friend when I was in school, and literally the only thing we did was we got on a call on Messenger and we would stream Outlast gameplays the whole entire night. That is all we would do. We would just sit down and we would open the same video on our phones and we would count down till 3, like 1, 2, 3, and then we would play the video together. and the video was about Outlast. So we watched this streamer. His name was Dashi Games, and yeah, the dude was hilarious, man. So we just watched him play, and we just watched Outlast gameplay the whole night. It was so much fun. It depends on my mood. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. I like spooky themes a lot, but I don't like horror, if that makes sense. I just like spooky stuff, dark stuff, but I don't like horror. Because horror is just a bad attempt at spooky. The idea of a horror film would never excite me. But making a horror game or a horror character, a spooky character, yeah, that is something I dig, man. Yep. So we have this. Let's see. Let's do this. Let's cut it here. We'll just have this much on the screen, so it should be fine. Shoulders can be up. Yeah, I love dark fantasy, for example. Yeah, that is what I want to say. So I love dark themes as well. Not specifically horror, but anything that is dark. I just love it. Draw sharp. Let's just sharpen this a bit. Yeah, we can worry about this later. Let's just work on the face. And we can just paint everything inside black. So we don't need to worry about the details there. Perfect. How long has it been? 13 minutes. So 10 minutes, not bad. Let's see. Let's work on the mouth. Bro, I don't know why Blender decided that it was a good idea to turn off the radius pressure sensitivity on the clay strips brush. And yeah, I don't think there's a way you can set it on by default either. But it is what it is. And yeah, I feel bad for complaining about stuff when it comes to Blender because it's such an awesome program and it's absolutely free. But yeah, take it as some good criticism. I don't know, bro. I mean, it was so easier when, not easier, but it was natural. It is just natural that you're using a graphic tablet and then you have pressure sensitivity on the radius. They had it for the longest time, but now they don't. So, I don't know why. But yep, Blender is free. It's an amazing piece of software. Even when I was doing my 3D animation and design degree, before joining the bachelor's program, I was playing around with Blender at home. So there was a lot of time between my university starting, the visa process and everything, and I was just sitting home waiting for the procedure. So like, yep, let me just try it on my own. Let me just find something on YouTube and then I can follow some tutorials and start learning 3D. And the first software that came in front was Blender. And back then it was the old UI and everything. And I followed the classic donor tutorial with the old UI and everything. And I was blown away. I was like, damn, look at this. And I was showing my dad and my mom and I was like, hey, look, I made this donut. And it was so cool. Then I tried making my own sword and everything. I made my own light bulb. It was really nice playing around with Blender. But when my program started, when I started the 3D degree, all they taught was Maya. And I kid you not, bro. At that time in 2018, Maya sucked. I don't know why. They didn't have good rendering systems. It was so crappy the way that it rendered stuff, and I was like, why don't they use Blender? Blender is so cool. Blender has a much more realistic result than Maya. I think Maya back then had Mental Ray Yeah, it was called Mental Ray. So Mental Ray was how its render engine, and it sucked. It was so bad. And since then, I was in love with Blender. The whole university, I wondered, like, why don't they teach Blender? Then I learned that, oh, it's not the industry standard. The industry standard is Maya. But I think as a freelancer and as a creator, you don't care what the industry standard is. You don't care what the condition of the market is, whatever, whatever. You just learn what you want. That is really empowering. And I'm so glad I've been able to learn Blender now. It's amazing. I love Blender. Especially since it made huge changes in the sculpting area. Sculpting in Blender is so cool. I haven't tried ZBrush yet, but I tried Mudbox. And yeah, Blender is the best. The best. And it's free, which always blows my mind. Yeah, this looks nice. I want to make these really, really deep because yeah, they are super deep here. The eye sockets. And deep eye sockets is always scary. Why? Because whenever there's going to be shadow, for example, if I turn on shadow here, this is why they make deep sockets in scary characters. Let me tell you why. So when you turn on shadows, oh boy, what the hell? Yep, let's make it a bit darker. See here, the eyebrow, this part is going to cast this shadow on here, and it just makes it look more creepy because then it resembles the skull. In this case, they've also painted it black, which is nice, but generally speaking, someone with deep eye sockets is always going to be intimidating because see, this looks like a skull. And you're often going to notice in a horror scene, they are either going to have lighting like this, where it's top down so that you see this shadow, or it's going to be like this. And in this case as well, you see this area is highlighted. It looks spooky. So yeah, just a bonus tip and some reasoning. So if you want to make a horror character, just give him really, really deep eye sockets. An example of this is if you've seen Peaky Blinder, you can see that Tommy Shelby has his iconic death stare, and it looks super intimidating because he has really deep eye sockets. So yeah. I think we can give him a bit of a head tilt. Yeah. I think I should set a camera here. Yep. Let's see. This is just so that I can make comparisons, better comparisons. If you don't set a camera and then you keep wandering here and there, and then you try fixing stuff, it's not going to work. So it's a good idea to have a camera in a similar position so that it's just easier to make some observations. And yep, see, now that I have this camera, I can notice that the head can be a bit bigger. Oh, turn on symmetry. Okay, let's not rotate it for now. Yep, the face can be smaller. Nose can be slimmer. Mhm. And yeah, when you're sculpting, personally for me, I don't ever bother with trying to getting 100% likeness. It's just not possible. So just always try to aim for a ballpark. As long as you're in the 80-90% accuracy, it's absolutely fine. A thing that you should think about is that no one can sculpt the same thing ever again. So the person who made this corrector, if he tried to sculpt this again or paint this again, or I think it's painted here, or maybe it's an AI reference, I don't know. But no matter who it is, whenever they try to recreate something, it's never going to be the same. So why bother with it yourself? As long as you're in the ballpark, as long as it's something similar, it is absolutely fine. Go watch any art streamer and look at when they're working from reference. It's never 100%. It's never a one-to-one replica. It's something that is inspired by the reference. And not having this pressure on top of your head, like, oh, I need to follow this 100%, and just try. Just don't follow it 100%, but try to aim for a ballpark. You will sculpt better automatically, guaranteed. Why? Because you're not bothered, you're not worrying about silly stuff, and it will help you. It will help you a lot. It will actually make your sculpts better because you just relieve yourself of that unnecessary pressure. That, oh shit, bro, I need to follow like the reference 100%. I need to make a one-to-one replica of this. Nope, you don't. You just need to make something that looks similar. That is it. Okay, now that I've rotated the head, oh, symmetry still works. Nice. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Kya haal hai? I'm good, man. How are you doing? How's the winter going for you, bro? It's super cold here. It's better now, but it was really chilly the last week. I completely agree. I would even say that it's important to inject your own vision and artistic creativity into it. 80% is more than enough. Some people even go as low as 70. Yeah, 100%. Though, if you want to inject your own vision and creativity, I believe that it's important that you have a bit of, yeah, not a bit, but you have some strong foundations set early. Then, of course, you can choose your own track, inject your own creativity. Initially, when you're learning, just try to follow your best. Just try to learn from the references. And the way that I like to teach is that I always try to build strong foundations using generic faces, generic proportions, generic bodies, generic anatomy. You learn the generic stuff, you build a strong foundation, and everything else just becomes easier automatically. The problem that happens with a lot of beginners is that they try to go into the creative phase too early without having a strong foundation. And then they wonder, oh boy, why can't I create my favorite characters? Why can't I'm not creative enough. I'm not that enough. I'm not this enough. And yeah, I think it's just unfair. Like, you don't have the basics yet. Like, why would you expect that you're going to be a pro? It's not going to happen. So initially, just try to stick to the principles, develop your strong foundation, and then by all means, bro, go for it. Once you understand the language of anatomy, of course, you can write your own essays, you can write your own poems. But the main thing is that you have good grip over the basics. And it's easier than most people realize. I feel like a lot of creators, they just make this big dick move that in order to make themselves sound cooler, though they don't talk about this stuff. They just talk about, oh, I just made this from imagination, and yeah, I have all of this muscle memory in my mind. Bro, screw you. You're setting wrong expectations for others. Yes, you do develop all that stuff, but at least talk about how did you get there. At least educate people on that, yeah, you need to stick to the fundamentals first, and then you proceed to these things. In order of, when you say these things just to sound cool or to sound like a professional, you're hurting a lot of young artists. And yeah, I have no respect for such creators. Who unnecessarily complicate stuff just so that they can sound a bit cooler. And on the contrary, I would say that you shouldn't use the 80% excuse to try. Yeah, 100%. 100%. I believe that accountability is such an underrated thing. When I say you, I don't mean you personally, son. Yes, I know. No offense taken. Oh, bro, I want to hide the camera. It's just distracting. I just believe it's such a disservice on the end of a creator when they say stuff to sound cool and they hurt other young artists. It's a dick move, bro. You're a dick. You don't deserve to be a creator. I don't know why it was always such a flex. Hey, I made this without a reference. Yeah, you suck. Reference is so important. And I see this all the time. People come here and comment on the stream or on the video, or I get DMs. Hey, how important do you think reference is? Reference is everything, bro. Like, come on. It's your blueprint. Like, it's something that you have to look at. If you don't know, if you don't have a reference, you're just shooting in the dark. What are you trying to sculpt? So you need a reference, bro. You need a good reference. Not having a reference is like walking in a jungle without a map. Of course you're gonna get lost. Unless that jungle is where you've lived your whole life and you're Mowgli, you were raised by panthers and apes and lions. Yeah, then you need a map. Otherwise you're gonna get lost. But if you're Mowgli, you've been in the jungle for a while, yeah, you don't need a map. How long are we into this stream? Oh, 34 minutes, not bad. Yeah, I think for half an hour, this is a good sketch. Oh yeah, and by the way, guys, let me show you something. Where do I save this to? Here's a tip for you. Wait. Oh, how did I minimize myself? Here I am. Always on top. Yes. Okay. Here's something that I want to show you. So whenever you sculpt something, always go back and revisit your files. So this was the, where is it? Shit. Yep. This is what I sculpted in the last stream. Okay. And this happens to everyone. And I mean everyone. When you're working on something and you're looking at it for a while, you enter this tunnel vision. And in the process, you might skip a few things that were in the reference. Okay. That is absolutely normal. This is part of the process. So always, like this is what I sculpted in the stream in 40 minutes or so. But what I like to do is I always like to revisit my files. And when I do revisit them, you see how much better this is. So yeah, just go take a walk, drink some water, or revisit it the next day. You're always going to notice some things that you could have done differently. And yeah, this looks much better than what I did on the stream. And this is something that I always do. So whenever I sculpt something, look at this. This is what I sculpted on the stream. So whenever I do sculpt something, I always revisit those files. And yep, you'll be surprised at the things that you can notice then. So always do this. Always do this. No piece is ever finished. When you're sculpting something, when you're making a piece of art, it's never complete. And it never will be. Remember that art is just a process of fixing your mistakes. So you make mistakes, you fix them. Then you make mistakes again, and then you fix them, and then you fix them, and then you fix them. The thing about art is, bro, it's never gonna be perfect. So yeah, just have fun, bro. It's not as stressful as you make it. It's not stressful. Art should be fun. And yeah, here's the truth. Here's a bitter truth. Initially, art sucks. Okay, when you try to make Omni-Man and it's not Omni-Man, it's a weird, I don't know, weird guy, then it's not fun. Yep. It only becomes fun when you go through a painful process initially. So you go through a painful process of learning, of discomfort, and then when you can make your favorite characters, then it starts to become fun. Before that, it's uncomfortable, and it should be uncomfortable. The reason that it's uncomfortable is because it's a new thing for you. So initially, it is going to be painful, it is going to be uncomfortable. But I promise you, there is fun in that as well. So instead of the result, if you start focusing on the progress, and you every day, instead of setting an unrealistic goal where you're like, hey, today I'm going to sculpt Omni Man in one day, it's not going to happen. But if you set your goal a bit lower, that, hey, today what I'm going to do is I'm just going to learn how to block out the face. And then you block out that face. You can feel happy, bro. You can be proud of yourself that, holy shit, bro, today I learned how to block out a face. That is how you progress. So you set a bar low enough that you can achieve, and then you achieve it, and then you feel proud, you feel happy, you feel like you've accomplished something. And that is part of the process. And then the next day, you set a bar low enough that you can achieve it, and then you achieve it. Like, today I'm just going to learn how to block out the nose. Today I'm going to learn how to block out the eyes. Today I'm going to learn how to make the eyes. Today I'm going to learn how to make just the mouth. You set these low bars and you accomplish them. That is how you build confidence. And then eventually you set the goal that today, bro, today is the day I'm going to make Omni Man. And then you make Omni Man. You feel good. Yeah, I think I can make it a bit darker. Value lower. Oh, holy shit. What? Brightness. No. Contrast. Still better. But we'll see what we can do. Fine. Let's work with this for a... Oh, shit. Yep. Paint blend. I completely agree. Okay, you're right. Yep. ओके भाई घर में तो ठीक, विंटर में अगर सुबह 8 बजे जाना होता है तो पाठ yeah, bro, I agree. The wind pierces the whole body. Damn, it's super cold. I think that's my biggest mistake, honestly. I never keep what I make. I almost move on to my next model. It's a shame I don't keep. I keep every file, bro. So if I go here, yes, save. So, see, this is 2026. These are all my projects. If I go here, 2025, I have all my projects here. If I go back to next batch, you can see I have all of the files that I've tried, worked on, sculpted. It's all here. And yeah, sometimes I do. Yeah, I don't think I ever missed a file. Yep. I always keep files. Some are on my hard drive, and some things that I've never opened again. It's a good and a bad thing, because you just have so much unnecessary space occupied on your PC. It doesn't make sense. So I have a lot of unnecessary files on my PC and I never visit them, and it just takes up a lot of space. So yeah, but at least revisit once so that you take the lesson, and then you cannot keep the file. But yeah, you learn so much when you revisit the files. You learn a lot. So I would highly recommend that you visit the files at least once. At least once. Let's disable symmetry and make this cut on his mouth. Just a sec, guys. Let me go check the door. नीचे पड़ी है, नीचे स्ट्रीम कर रहा हूँ, नीचे लाउंज में। बाय। It was my brother. He wanted Scrabble. I love board games too, by the way. Board games are fun. It's a shame it's not really popular here in my country. But yeah, I like board games. Board games are nice. We have this really popular board game called Ludo, which is like the national game after cricket. And the fun thing about Ludo is, bro, every single one literally has their own rules. So every household has its own rules for Ludo. And sometimes it can be a fun thing, sometimes it can be really annoying. Like you go to someone else's house and you're playing and so like, hey, this is not a rule here, so you can't do this. Yep. So before you play Ludo with anyone, it's always a good idea to ask them, hey, what are your rules, bro? Tell me, so that you don't moan when we start playing. And I'll be honest, bro. I do cheat when I play board games. I cheat a lot. So sometimes I'll just roll the dice in a way. I have this trick where you throw dice a specific way, you can get the number that you want. Whatever the number's on top, you throw it in a way. So basically what I do, instead of just throwing it randomly, I hold the dice like this and I spin it a bit. So it feels like I threw the dice randomly, but what I'm trying to get the face that I have on top to spin. So the bottom is flat, it just spins. It looks like it rolled, but then you get whatever was on top. And yeah, don't use it often. And I am telling you guys because it's a low chance that we'll play. But yeah, I mean, I do cheat when I play board games a lot. I'll move some pieces here and there when no one is noticing. And yep, I do cheat a lot. Sometimes I like to play fair, but I just don't like to lose, man. So I'll just cheat when I'm playing board games. Yeah, I don't like to lose. And when I'm playing with my mom, especially, what I would do is, so basically the way Ludo works is that you have a bunch of, what do you call it? Let me show you guys. Let me show you. Let's search Ludo. Yep. So this is Ludo, right? Which one would be a good example? Yep. This is a good example. No, this is not has the stops. Yep. This one. Oh, bro, why don't they have the stops? What is this? Don't show me the English Ludo. Show me the real Desi Ludo. The one that we play. Ludo board. I don't know why these are all fake, man. Yeah, this is a good one. Okay, let me explain the rules very quickly. Yep, so what happens is that you have these 4 pieces of 4 different colors, and what you have to do is you have to bring them out and you have to go all the way here. So the way this happens is that you roll these dices, and whatever number you get on the dices, you can move that many pieces here. Okay. And the objective is that you have to go and circle the whole board, and then you have to go back to your color and end up here. So once you end up here, that goat, we call it a goat, that goat qualifies. Yep. And it's out of the game. So when you qualify all 4 of your goats, you win the game. So what I do sometimes is I always play yellow. So let's say my mom, she moved her goat from here all the way to here. And when she's not watching, when she's not paying attention, I'll just move her goat from here to here, back to the home. And the way that you take out a goat from the home is that you need a 6. So whenever you have a 6, you can bring one goat out. So if all 4 of your goats are inside and you don't get a 6, you just waste the turn. You need 6s in order to get out. And yep, when she's here, around here, or sometimes even when she's here, when she made the whole circle and she's here, I just drag the goat back home and she doesn't even realize. And yeah, you'll be like, hey, Zach, but it's so obvious you have a goat here. No, it's not obvious, bro. But when the game is intense and you have a lot of goats and everyone is playing, there's so many things to keep track of. And then you can cheat sometimes. But I have good sleight of hand. And yep, I do cheat. It's all fun and games, bro. You should learn to cheat in board games as well. I used to cheat when we played Monopoly as well. So I was the person who took care of the bank, and I would sometimes slip a 500 note to my what do you call it, wallet, whatever that is. Yep. So I do cheat there as well. It's fun. You should try cheating sometimes. Let's give him a crooked nose, a bit of a asymmetric nose, because he has it here. Let's dig it a bit like this so that we emphasize the bend. And yep, not bad. How long have we sculpted this? 50 minutes. Not bad. And yeah, you see, don't care about being 100%. Just care about trying your best to reach the 80-90% ballpark. You'll be good, man. You'll be good to go. So, yep, I'm just gonna sign off now. If there's any questions, just let me know right now. If you want a free head sculpting course, there's a link in the description. And yeah, I teach you how to sculpt a head within a month for free inside my school. Free 1 month head sculpting challenge. So let's move to object. Sock started teaching Ludo instead of sculpting. Yeah, man. Ludo's fun. It's really nice. There's not a huge learning curve to Ludo. So you can literally teach anyone Ludo and play with them. But yeah, do give them all the rules, man. Don't be a dick and be like, hey, this wasn't a rule. It's a rule now. Yeah, be fair. And I know it's not, yeah. No, I shouldn't be saying this because I just told you how I cheat. But it's okay. Sometimes it's just fun and games. Yeah, I think what I can do is go to the color filter and maybe increase the contrast a bit. Let's increase the value. Or maybe not. It's okay. Yeah. There you have it, guys. Shade smooth. Yep. Perfect. Yep. We can just add some black paint here in the nose. Oh, bro, this looks nice. I'm just trying to find a good angle for the light. Here I can see all of this is in shadow, so the light is definitely in this direction. But this looks nice as well. Yep, I think this should be good enough. Perfect. Let's take a screenshot for the render. Oh, for the thumbnail. How do I look at him? Am I looking at him now? Wait. Okay. So if my eyes, my camera's flipped, so I'll have to think of the. Okay. Let's do this. No, the other way. No, shit, bro, the other way. Yeah, this looks nice. All right. That is it for this stream. I'll see you around. Subscribe. Join my Discord so that I can ping you every time I come live. And yeah, you won't miss another stream. So yeah, that is it for today. Goodbye. Take care. Have a great one. Here's a fist bump. Boom.